You give me 5 farmers with 2 acres. In 2 years, I'll make them millionaires. What did I say? 5 farmers or 50 farmers. They have 2 acres. They are supposed to be farmers. In 2 years, they will be millionaires. This is one of the biggest problems of small scale farmers. Neighbor is growing avocados, so you put avocados. Then you don't take care of that avocados. And when the time comes, the avocados are small. And then a middleman comes and then you see that you're not even making money, but you read a story that you're making 2 million shillings from avocado farm of 1 acre. And most of the people who are making money, they are not telling you how they're making money. Of these commercial farms, they buy our farms, they rape that farm for years, and then they leave it and they go to the other farms. This is what is happening. I told you in my culture, we pray. Cow is we see God in cow. When we talk of cattle, it's the cattle I'm talking which has been God made. It's not the one which is made by human beings. Okay, the one what you call a cow and what I call a cow are two different things. If that person is dependent on only rains, I will suggest that he should not do farming. You can't. When I say irrigation is you need a source of water. When you have source of water in 1 year, you can get more than 3 crops. That is when the game-changing things happen because you're making it highly productive. We had the inspector, he checked everything and then he asked me a question, how good is your pesticide? Do you know what I did? I picked up the pesticide bottle, put it in the glass of water, 5 ml, and I drank it in front of him. I always say that a cow without a farm and a farm without a cow will always struggle. Farm animal is a very important aspect if you want to really get the benefits of organic natural farming.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Organic Guy podcast. This is your home of organic conversations. I'm your host, the Organic Guy, and around here we have conversation around how we can make our food system really work for us rather than against us. And today I want us to talk a very important topic that almost always gets ignored a lot, and I want us to talk about the soil. What is the soil, right? And how can we actually regenerate it? How can we bring it back to life? So that's the conversation I want us to focus on. To help us really have this conversation, I've got a special guest with us. He goes by Kumar Sheth, who is the CEO and founder of Food for Soil Africa. Seth, welcome to the pod.
Thank you, Brian.
I've been looking at some of your work. It's very, very impressive. You've got a diverse and a different kind of background. But for me, I usually like to start by understanding someone's background because I'm a huge believer that how you grew up and where you grew up have a huge impact on who you become later in life. So before we get into the conversation, just give us a brief of where you grew up. Who are you in terms when you were small? Were you a talkative? Were you more of a conservative person? So what was happening in that space?
I grew up in India. I was born in India. I was one of the naughtiest person you could find in class. I used to fail in minimum 3 subjects all the time. I have been to hostel because I was the notorious guy. So I was sent to hostel there also. I could not stay. So I was sent to some of my relatives in Bombay. I come from a place called Kolhapur. It's 500 kilometers south of Mumbai. We know Mumbai, Maharashtra in India. That's how my childhood was. Always curious, always doing something or the other. If there are 4 kids in a room and one kid is crying, the parents would first come and scold me and then say, why did you do this? So it was assumed Kumar is the one who has done that. From there, things started changing, and when I was doing my BCom, I met some friends and you just start talking and we discussed about accounting. So I gave a professional course for accounting. It's called Chartered Accountant. Chartered Accountants from India, in those days it was something like doctors and engineers, much even. It was something where you needed a lot of efforts, and it's like the passing percentage was 1%, 2%. So it's not similar to ACCA. We all know ACCA, but it was a more rigorous because you have to go practically do things, understand, and the taxation of accounts, audit, banking, and all those areas were different. So I got into it, and fortunately, I passed all of them in first attempts. Only the final I did it in second attempt. The reason I'm sharing this is passing chartered accountancy course in a few attempts in itself is looked as if it's a very big achievement. Okay, so that's how it started. Then I joined a company, accounting firm, and I was growing there in that firm. I was supposed to go. I took up a job to go to Singapore. It was a shipbreaking industry where they wanted a chartered accountant to look after stuff. And I fell ill. I got something we call jaundice and typhoid. So because of that, I could not go there. I stayed. I had already resigned from my job, and I was sitting in my house to see what should I do. And that's when the opportunity to Kenya came in, because I had some relatives who had some factories here in Kenya, and that's how I came here. In 1999 is when I came here. When I joined the company, now you see you're coming from a corporate world and you think it's about audits. You sit in an office, you have managers, you have people working. Here I came and I joined directly a factory where I was doing everything. I used to check night production. I used to check the machines. I used to check administrative aspects. I used to check issues related to machines. I used to do the ordering. I used to do the invoicing. I used to do the packing. And we had 300 workers working in the factory. So that is what molded me what I am. So a hands-on person, able to do various things. That's how the whole thing started. And then after that, I joined a few other companies. In the financial world, I believe that I have gone around the whole table. So I have been an accountant, I've been a chief accountant, CFO, finance director, consultant, and also on the other side of the table started some few businesses. Like in Kenya, if you are for a few years, you become a hustler. You always want to do something more. And me being somebody who gets involved into many things at times. So that's how I got into it. We fast forward all these experiences, what I got. Then I started my consultancy firm where I do accounts and finance consultancy, where the key difference is that it's all hands-on. It's not about giving you a blueprint, do this, do that. You show it practically how you do it. So that's in general who I am.
Yeah, it's a very interesting background. So corporate finance, it's very in the office kind of setup. I mean, we are talking about you now getting involved with soils and with farming. What was the trigger that made you, say, what, there's something that is, I think, that's happening in the soil or in farming that I should get involved? What was that trigger?
So let me be honest. I don't think like that. It just happened. I was on a farm where the owner of the farm wanted to sell his farm. So it was a merger and acquisition deal. So somebody has got a farm and he wants to sell it for whatever reason. So he has a valuation. So now this is what you have done in your life. So you know people, you know accountants, you know accounting firms, you know various other people in the industry who wants to invest. And that was the main start of that conversation. And when we were seated there, he excited me with what is the meaning of soil, how many nutrients are there, why it is important, where the world is going, and how easy it is to fix. And he mentioned to me a few things. And then at that moment of time, I had got a lot of time with me because I had stopped doing what I was doing. Maybe it was burnout or whatever you call it. So I had a lot of time where I was looking into myself, what I want to do. And that empty time was where I looked into a lot of courses. I looked into a lot of videos. I went to India because I come from India. I met a lot of people there, and that's when I said, look, because being asked, I said, this is easy, I can do this, make a lot of money. That's what I thought 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. Right now, my perspectives have changed. So what started as something which I said it's a win-win situation for the farmer, for me, for the country, everybody. So that's how the whole thing started as far as Food for Soil Africa is concerned. I started with one product and we have got right now 7 products which are registered.
Yeah, interesting, because most of the people I talk to, especially in the organic and farming space, most of the time they are self-taught. And I think that's evidence to yourself as well, because, you went back, you started researching about it. And I think that innate curiosity that you got gives you a little bit of a different kind of knowledge from the one that you can get from like the conventional educational system. So that's an interesting observation I usually make from a lot of people involved in this space. So talk to us a little bit about Food for Soil. So what is it exactly, and what do you do in terms of helping farmers?
So you're talking of an accountant or a CFO or a finance guy becoming a agricultural entrepreneur. Let me say it like that, because there are multiple things I did within 3 years. So we started. I started with one of the product we call it soil conditioner. So soil conditioner, the predominant ingredient in there was, if you look at it deeper, it's cow dung, one of the ingredients, but it's not only that. We made one product, soil conditioner, so it has got readily available carbon, it has got humic acid, and it has got the various microorganisms, including mycorrhiza, including we call it WAM in short names. You have got microbes, you have got carbon fixing microbes, you have got sulfur fixing microbes, and you have got many aspects of that, enzymes and so many things which are there. The beauty is that we manufactured it here. So when I was giving this product to the farmers, you're giving it to the conventional farmers, because I was the one I have a partner. He was helping me with storing the stuff and helping me with whatever I was not doing. So whatever I was not doing, I was banging it on him. He was a very good partner. So I was the one who was manufacturing it. I was the one who was packing it. I was the one who was delivering it. I was the one who was making the invoices. I was the one who was making the delivery notes. I was the one who was going on the farm. So it was a full deep dive into things and understanding for yourself. So that's how the whole thing started. A time came when for at least 9 months to 10 months, I was doing 600 kilometers a week. I used to go on public transport. I used to go I'm a good biker. I have got a sports bike. I've done 30,000 kilometers in last 2 years. Today, if I have to go to Mombasa, I'll just put on my gear and I can just go alone. Yeah, so I've been to Kisumu, Kimana, Mombasa, Kisii, everywhere. Most of the time earlier, I was driving it for fun with my friends, and then I started riding for a reason. The riding for a reason came from the person who inspired me to get into this, because it started there, and then when you get into one aspect or the other, the brand is called, or the movement is called Save Soil. So if you Google Save Soil, the first website is called Conscious Planet, which has been started by a person called Sadhguru. Okay, you must have heard of Sadhguru. So there's nothing religious about it or something. He just talks about safe soil. That's it. Yeah, and all the facts, how to do it, how he has done it, how it has helped not thousands but millions of people. You will see everything in that. They have got all the statistics you mentioned about how soils are being degraded, what are the reasons for it. It has got a lot of information. So he's one of the person behind me. By the way, I've got a bigger logo of Save Soil behind my t-shirt than my own logo, because saving soil is a very big thing. There's nothing more bigger than that, bigger than our company. So coming back to my experience, so if I say I've been to a minimum of 4,000 different farms. I've done more than 25,000 farm visits, because some farms you visit more than one time. However, I was trying to do it in a very different way. I said I need to connect with the farmers, and I need to see if it's working. The farmers should be able to call back, and because now distribution systems are becoming better and better, and try and see, because it's not that I'm competing with a big company or I want to have a particular kind of turnover or everything, because I've done good in my life. Kenya has given me a lot. So I said, let me try it this way. I failed miserably. Okay, if I say that. However, I failed miserably because failure is generally connected to how much money you make. However, my definition of success is a bit different. Money should come, but however, every person you're interacting with, every farmer you're interacting with, they should always get something more than what you're trying to give. At the various places, you call it trial, commercial trial, people paid for it or people don't pay for it. Not a single person said it is not working. So during this time, it gave me confidence. And so we have the soil conditioner. Then we started making a soil cleanser, as the name suggests, to cleanse the soil. Then we started making, we made something we called it manure cure or manure magic. So, as the name suggests, how you cure the manure. Then we have products like biostimulants, where it's for fruiting and flowering. We have an insecticide. We have a fungicide. Everything is natural. One of the days when we have, Kilimahai is a very good brand which is really doing wonderful job in Kenya. So our products are certified by them, and we had the inspector. He checked everything, and then he asked me a question: how good is your pesticide? Do you know what I did? I picked up the pesticide bottle, put it in the glass of water, 5 ml, and I drank it in front of him. He just was looking at me. He says, I said, that, now what else do you want? Why would I drink something? So it was something which, because I know what I'm putting inside it, So that's the reason why you have confidence in the product. So that's how the whole experience regarding what happened in the market, meeting customers, meeting farmers. When you're meeting farmers, you meet a small scale farmer, you get a large scale farmer, you meet a cooperative, you meet large scale farmers. Everywhere the experiences were very, very different. And because you're working on the soil, it was very difficult for me to sell it. The reason why is because, you see, when you go to a farmer, he will want to know what are you selling. He will directly relate, is this replacing urea? Is it replacing DAP? Is it replacing chemicals? Is it replacing pesticides? Is it replacing... Because when you take all these things differently, it becomes very, very difficult to make it cost effective for the farmer. So that's the reason why I've taken a breather for last few months and trying to see how we go back to the farmer in such a way that you are able to reduce the costs for the farmer at least by 50%, if not more. And you are on that journey, because you see, somebody who is used to using chemicals and pesticides and fungicides, you can't just go today and give him a solution and he is going to become organic. Okay, it has got financial implications. Okay, even if that guy has got 1 acre or 1,000 acres, he's going to give you a small portion and you need to try. And that trying for a small company like us, it has got a lot of cost implications. So that's where we were trying to see how to chase it. But with so many farmers using the product, so many places, different soils, different crops, we understood that if we take care of the soil, everything else will fall in place.
So before we get into the nitty-gritties, I want to hear your perspective. How do you define soil? Like, what is soil?
So first of all, if you define, when you go onto soil, everybody will look at it in a different way. You must have heard about that story that there is an elephant and there are 8 or 9 blind people. Somebody touches the tail, somebody touches the trunk, somebody touches the belly, somebody touches the legs. Everybody will have a different experience, right? So in case of soil also, you will find every stakeholder defining soil in a very different way. According to me, you will need to look at it in multiple ways. Number one, the chemical composition of the soil. Number two, the physical aspects. And number three, the biological aspects. So there are 3 ways you need to look at soil, and everything is interdependent. When you talk of soil, you need to understand what is the difference between sand and soil. So if you remove the organic matter from the soil, it becomes sand. If you add organic matter into the sand, it becomes soil. So as easy at it as it seems as we are talking, every person has a different way of looking at it, how you can enhance it or how you can work with soil. So according to me, that's how we look at soil.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because as you said, every person will give you a very different perspective of the word soil, right? So from the conventional side, they look soil from a chemistry point of view, mostly, right? So they say the soil only needs NPK. From the sustainable point of view, they look at as biology as living, something that is living, right? So you need to give it compost, gives life to the soil, blah, 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 that kind of perspective. So for you then, as a small scale farmer, someone who wants to get into farming, what can we do, at least from a biology point of view, to improve the soils of a small scale farmer?
I will say not from biological point of view, but from the overall, every aspect. Before we get into that, let me explain you. Let's talk about the difference between a doctor and a mother. In the earlier times, we did not. I'm not against any doctors. I'm just giving an example. So, agronomist is a doctor for the soil. So, there is a science. So now today, earlier when you were getting sick, I'm not talking of accidents. I'm talking of you getting sick. Maybe you have malnutrition. Maybe you got a disease. Maybe you got fever. Whatever it may be, who was curing us? It's the mothers. Through what? Food. So traditional food was used as traditional medicine. And today, this traditional knowledge is being wiped out at a faster pace than you and me, we can imagine. I'll ask you a question. My grandfather, when he passed away, he had got half his teeth in his mouth. Maybe his age was, I think, 85 or 88, I don't remember. My father right now is 72, none of his teeth are there. 5 years ago. My teeth will not be there until I'll be 60. Even before 60, it will be gone. So are you telling me I am taking care of my teeth in a better way with a very nice toothpaste which I'm paying 600 shillings and a nice brush, and my grandfather was not taking care of it? You can't blame everything to climate change. All right. So now, if you start debating about it, everybody will have a different answer. I'm just putting questions to you. Now, let us take that today you go to a doctor, say you're sick, which means you have fever. So you'll pay the doctor, you will pay for the test, you'll pay for the medicines. Is there any guarantee that doctor gives you that you'll be okay? And then the next season you go to the same doctor and you pay the same things and you eat the same things. Why? So this is how we are conditioned. Because you think that you will not be able to do without that medicine. That's the first thing. Let me put up a second question. At home, what do you have when we are eating food? You have got ugali, sukuma wiki, you have got githeri, you have got we have got our fermented food, uji. So while you're eating that, on a Sunday when you want to chill with your friends, what do? You'll go out and eat a pizza. Is it good for your health? You have a Coke with it. Is it good for your health? Still you do it. Why? So you don't have to answer that. This is the problem. You know urea is bad for your soil. You know NPK is bad for your soil. You know chemicals, what kind of damage it is going to do to you, but still we do it. So there will be multiple answers towards it. But the bottom line is that we want shortcuts. You have a headache. You don't want to go to the reason for your headache. Maybe you did not have your breakfast on time. Maybe you did not hydrate yourself. Maybe you went to some place where it is prone to mosquito bites, or there's a seasonal change or something or the other. If you just lie down for 2 days, just eat some simple house food, you're going to be okay. But we don't want to do that. We want to eat medicines because when you're empowered, when you have more money, say I'm earning 15,000, 20,000 shillings a month and you're earning 100,000 shillings a month. What is the difference in our lifestyle? You are supposed to be better off than me because you have money. But it's not the case. The lady who takes care of my house, my kids, she is more healthier than us. And she does not have all that kind of resources to buy those pizzas and unnecessary things in her life. She's walking 7-8 kilometers, 10 kilometers in the morning. She's walking in the evening. She's eating one time. And she's sticking to her basics. What she does not know. What is she eating? She's having a rugali and sukuma wiki. But what does it do to her body? Everybody knows, but we want to ignore about it. So this is the issue what we have. So now what we are talking here is the immune health. So how do you build immune health of a human being? And how do you build the immune health of soil? These are the questions I'm answering. So let me tell you something. You are a human being, right? You have a car. When you buy the car, you have a user's manual, isn't it? Yeah? So this is how you drive the car. This is the fuel you put in it. This is the number of days after which you service. So you are a human being. Do you have your user's manual? I'm serious about it. So we don't have a user's manual. Why? That user's manual is with our ancestors. That knowledge is lying with our ancestors. Who told you that you're supposed to wake up early in the morning? It is good for you. Who told you that home food is better? Because it is there. You don't need somebody, you don't need ChatGPT to give you these answers. Yeah, we have these answers. Our mothers and our grandmothers, they have it. They will know that in this season, this is the right thing to eat for you. This is the kind of fermented food what you're supposed to eat, and you will be okay. So it is on these lines where I have gone into understanding how human beings, soil, and cattle, they are all interrelated. When we talk of cattle, it's the cattle I'm talking which has been God made. It's not the one which is made by human beings. Okay, the one what you call a cow and what I call a cow are two different things. Because anything which has been there naturally is what we are talking about. So when we talk of indigenous seeds, you can have a little bit of hybrid ones. You see, they're not GMOs. GMO is totally different ball game. Yeah, I'm not talking whether it is right or wrong. What I'm saying is what has been given by God is there. Now, let's talk about how farming was done 100 years ago. We don't even have to go very back in the ancient history. And you compare with how we were then, 3 generations or 4 generations, depending on where we are. The farms were healthier. The vitamin content, say for example, you're eating an orange today. You're eating it for vitamin C, right? As per United Nations records, also it's on the Safe Soil website. That's where I've got all this information. 70, 80 years ago, if you're eating one orange, the amount of vitamin C what that one orange is giving you, do you think it is the same right now? According to you, how much has it gone down by?
Probably by half.
It has gone down by 95%.
95, that's crazy.
Which means, if you want to get the same vitamin C, what you were getting from one orange, you will need to eat 10 oranges now. And you know the number of vitamins you need. So humanly, it is not possible for you. So you're getting supplements. There are so many evidences that synthetic supplements do not make any sense on human body. Let's have a very good example. During COVID, how many vitamin C supplements did you gulp? How many zinc or some other things we gulped, right? But those people who had those tablets, you have been given it as a multivitamin, right? So it is supposed to help with your vitamin C. That vitamin C is supposed to build your immune system. So next time when there is a season change or something, you don't catch cold, you don't have those symptoms. But did it happen? No. So that's about the human beings. Now, I want to give you another example. My grandmother, she gave birth to 8 kids. Okay, my mother 4, my wife 2. My son might give 1. That one, 100% will not give birth to any. You know what is this? It's a malnutrition of the human race. It's not by choice. Today, we are fortunate here. Today, if you're a couple and you're expecting a child, what complications you're talking are very small complications. I mean, I never heard somebody spending $50,000 that he can't get a baby or she can't get a baby, right? Why? Because naturally it is easy for us. Do you know how much money somebody in Europe, India, China, wherever, Japan, they're spending? They're spending hundreds and thousands of dollars and they're not able to get a baby because there is nothing left in their body. So if it is not in your soil, it will never come onto the plants. If it is not in the plants, it will never come into the human beings. You can take it for granted. That is why saving soil is very important from every aspect. Now, on the same formula, if I tell my grandson or my granddaughter that he or she can produce 8 kids, they will say, Kumar, you have got insane. It's not possible. But you and me, we have seen it. So what is that? So now, let's relate it back to soil. You have degraded your soil at a level where most of the parameters you're looking at, everything is going down, Inputs are high, costs are high, you have many places to blame. In the end, when you don't understand anything, we blame climate change. Simple. Now, if I tell that farmer that whatever you're growing, your growth can be 5 times more, 6 times more. He will say it is not possible. But you and me, if you go back to history, we have seen it that it was growing. Now, you same thing is about the cattle. In the olden times, say, let's take the example of cow. Like, okay, I come from a religion where we cow is sacred, so we pray. So cow is not taken as food, as meat. We have got two types of cows here. One is for milk and one is for meat, right? So meat is the one which is the indigenous cows, which is there because you're not looking for milk. They just grazed and everything. In the earlier times, the way you would calculate whether that particular cow is beneficial for you is the number of births you will get over the lifetime of that cow. But right now, it has been directly said that it will depend on the amount of milk it is giving. Because you are thinking milk is the only precious commodity a cow can give. And that is the myth I'm trying to decode. Because India has already decoded. If you go to some records, India exported manure from cow dung in millions of dollars, not shillings, to countries like America, Saudi, and Middle East. Because, as I mentioned to you, only way you can convert sand into soil is by organic matter. And for that organic matter, you need bacteria and you need food. So those bacteria or the microorganisms, they need food, they will eat and they will do whatever they need to do. They have been doing it. Like you see, everybody says, when you go to the forest and you check any leaf, who is providing or it's working in a natural ecosystem? Okay, it's very easy to say, I will say, but how does a commercial farmer replicate those things on his farm and still make money? That is the journey what I am on. So I have to look at all the aspects of your farm. So when I'm coming to your farm, I'll give you a flowering solution. So you'll have wonderful flowers, but you don't have fruits. So you have failed, but my product has worked. So the moment we are going to look at it in individual products, we will always have one problem or the other. So that is why we are giving a full solution. You take up the soil, other things will fall in place. So we have got multiple ways to look at it. We have worked on almost everything we grow in Kenya. So that's about how we relate human beings, soil, farming, and cattle. So it's all circular.
It's a really, really interesting perspective that you've given. There's so many things I want to talk about, but I want us to start from the basics. You've mentioned that India currently exports a lot of cow dung, and this is a product that is, if you go to the village anywhere, this is a readily available component that is in every household. So for a small scale farmer, how can they use those readily available commodities like cow dung to actually help improve their soils?
So any animal dung, you convert into manure without mixing anything. It's called manure. If you mix a few other biomass or the residues on your farm, say they are twigs, they are leaves or residues from whatever you have grown, when you mix that, it becomes compost. And there is one thing ahead of it. We call it high carbon soil or high carbon compost. So how do you add more and more value onto that? Let's say cow dung. So as I mentioned to you, cow dung is cow dung which comes from a cow. And the way right now it is happening is you'll find people on roadside selling it, people specific yards where they sell it. So what do? They dump the cow dung, they let it stay in the sun, come a coca, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, then the farmer buys it and he puts it in his farm. That is how everybody does it. Even the big farms, even an organic farmer like yourself. But let me ask you a question. Did you test that manure before you took to your farm? Was the cow organic who gave you that manure? I always say that a cow without a farm and a farm without a cow will always struggle. You definitely need to have an animal, because this is again coming from the traditional practice. Traditionally, if you look at farms, so maybe your grandfather, he has a farm, there's some people staying there, he's also staying there. He has got some chickens, he has got some sheep, he has got some cows, whichever farming he likes to do. So farm animal is a very important aspect if you want to really get the benefits of organic natural farming, if you really want to grow things, because it's very easy and cheaper. So we don't know what is the quality of the cow dung. Now let's go back. What is happening to the cow? They are given so many injections. I think, is it for hormones or many aspects of that, right? If they have some ticks, you want to give them injection. They call it vaccination. How many farmers really know what kind of injections are being given to that animal? So there's a question mark. Now you are expecting that you can feed anything to that animal and whatever will come out is going to be a very nice manure. It's not going to be possible. So I'm not saying that it will be changed overnight, but if you know what we are giving to the cows, you will know that it is going to affect the quality of the manure. We sent some cow dung samples from here to India to get it checked. Apart from some small things what we can find out here, we found 474 chemical and pesticide residues in the cow dung. Today, people are talking of microplastics being found in so many places, So that's one aspect of it. So now, how do you stop all these things? So the first thing is to focus on the cow. Feed it proper things. So if your farm is organic, which means you are following the principles, you have different way you are managing your pest and the fungal infections, baridi, and so many things which you get. Now, when you're feeding that kind of feed to your cow, it helps also to the soil when it comes in the form of cow dung. Let's go now to the second stage where people are making manure. So you might have 10 cows. So every day, one cow will give you easily 10 to 15 kgs of raw cow dung. So it will be just put somewhere. And after some time, depending on, it's always in the open, so sunlight is there. Yes, there are certain negative aspects like E. coli and other things which is present in the cow dung which can harm your farm. But there is a way you can take it away out of it and also retain the nitrogen content of that cow dung. So what happens is we leave the cow dung in the sun. It turns into the manure, the conventional manure. So on a scale of 1 to 10, the potency of that is 1.5. However, if it is done our way, the potency is at 50. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll even cross the scale. That is the level of that compost, and you will understand why it is like that. So we have developed some products which we add. So we explain how those things. It's something very easy what a farmer can do on his farm. Now, you see, if you look at organic products, because you're a farmer, there are many products which are being sold. And if you look at it, it looks like it's like soil, something which is smelling good, something which has been enriched with some fortified or enriched with certain biologicals. Now, you have to understand that if somebody is selling you something which has got microorganisms in it, and if it is packed, if there is no air or oxygen, they are going to die over a period of time. And then the cost of this packing and getting it from overseas is so high. So when you talk in terms of how much is the available amount of microbes when you buy such things, it's say at a scale of say 10%, 15%. But when what we are making the compost on somebody's farm, it is available 50 times more, 100 times more than what it is being done at that place. Okay. So manure making, compost making is one of the key areas. Now let's go to compost making. Now if you go to farms, manure making, compost making, I will call it a gold mine, if not a diamond mine. Now what is the meaning of gold mine? Where you can get gold. Now how much importance and how much care are you taking about that gold mine? The cow is just there. You don't clean it. You don't take the dung out, keep it properly. It is left in the sun. So that whole concept of waste is something which we are trying to look at it in a different way. So now say you have harvested tomatoes. You have got the biomass. What do? You take the whole thing and put it on that heap. So you ask him, where is the compost? That is my compost. Is that what is compost? That is not the way compost is manufactured. If you want to call it a gold mine, we need to do it in a process. So it's something very simple. So what we do is we tell them put up a temporary shade or something. If you're not able to put up a shade, get some plastic covers which you can cover it, because we don't want direct sunlight to touch or extra rain to get in. So assuming you have got certain quantities of manure, you have got certain quantities of waste, you can mix rice husk. Rice husk, it takes a little bit time, so we generally tell them you can grind it and then you put it inside. You can put coffee waste, avocado waste, fruit waste. You go to the you go to our markets. The government is spending millions of shillings to clean it every day. That waste, if you mix it with this, it will go back into your soil. It becomes the circular economy, what you call. So how can we do all these things? Making bioenzymes, it's so easy. There are so many hundreds and thousands of videos available, but how many people are doing it? They're not doing it. Why? Because we want to have a shortcut, and there is no space for telephone farmer. You will have heard many people talking about it, that telephone farmer, he has got somebody there, and in few seasons he has already shut down his things. So now, coming back to the high carbon soil, what we call. So now, when you have, now what you're trying to do is you have control over the inputs. So garbage in, garbage out, you have heard about it. So now you're taking care of the cow. You will see how you can reduce the vaccines, you can reduce the hormones, because there are multiple ways to look at it. Another thing I want to mention here is cow feeds. Do you know about wheatgrass?
Wheatgrass, yes.
Do you know how wheatgrass is made?
Most of it I've seen hydroponics.
Yes. If you take a rack, you have some plates, you put some wheat on it, and you have your guy watering it every 1 hour. That is hydroponics. In 8 days, 1 kg of wheat becomes 7.5 kgs of wheatgrass. 1 or 2 days here and there, depending on how you water it. That wheatgrass is 25 times more nutritious than anything you're giving to your cow, than the wheat itself, or than the grass itself. So once you can make it from barley, once you can make it from sorghum, once you can make it from wheat. The moment you give this, you don't have to give any micronutrients to your animal. It is more nutritious. You will see it. See, how do you understand whether human being or an animal? Okay, in case of animal, it's very difficult. Whether you're okay or not, are you really telling me that the test results are going to tell me whether you're okay or not? It is you. You're smiling, you're sitting here, you're full of energy. It shows that you're good. That's what is immune system about, right? So this is how we are changing this is how we think. This is how we want to approach these things. So coming back to the compost making. So you just need to have diverse type of inputs in terms of compost, which you put back in the soil. So the composting process, we all know, you have those you can do it in different layers. You can mix it. You can get some cakes from somebody who has pressed soya bean, somebody has pressed some sunflower or avocado, everything. The key thing is, when macadamia, is to mix it in equal proportion. So ash is there, you're organic guys, so you know people use for ash for using potash and, depending on what kind of ash. So all these things, when it starts going back into the soil, and we have our flagship product, the soil conditioner, it has got carbon fixing bacteria, it has got sulfur fixing bacteria, it has got the mycorrhizal network, it can increase on its own. So what we are giving is, we are giving the whole thing to build the immune system of the soil. And compost making is a business which I believe our Kenyan young entrepreneurs should get into, because the demand is huge. We don't want to talk of exports. We just want to talk of giving it to a neighboring farmer. See, you are a farmer, you have a cow. Today you'll say, Kumar, okay, fine, let me try it out, see the difference. Tomorrow somebody else will come, because that's how we are. We are doing in multiple places.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting perspective as well. So what you're saying, if any farmer has access to the dung, right, they have a cow, one way they can actually use it for their benefits, make sure that the cow at most is in great health. So that also can lead to giving them a really good dung. Then from there, they can compost it using different kind of plant materials, and then from that they can use it in their farm as well. So that is basically the gist of it all. It's also interesting you mentioned that the kind of cow also makes a difference. So can you help us explain, like, what do you mean by that? Because you say that all cows are not the same.
Yeah, the people with whom I work who are researching in India, they have researched on different species of cows, including the hybrid cows. You know, the one I was saying that they are not actually cows because we don't know what animal is that, because they've been crossbreeded with two different animals. If you go, you know, the way we have it in agriculture where the root is different and then you plant a different grafted. Yeah. So right now, do you know in India they are grafting even tomato plants? It's not only the fruit trees. So people have gone much higher because why? It stays longer and you're getting better fruits. So let's say indigenous Indian or indigenous African or indigenous cow. When you talk of indigenous, you have specific genes being indigenous, which means today, if you and me, we go to Turkana and we come back, I'm the first person who's going to go sick because I'm not indigenous for this environment. But you are born and brought up here, you know. So this is two different things. Now, when you look at the cows which we have here, which is specifically for milk industry, they are specifically targeting it for milk. So something which, animal which was supposed to produce 3 liters or 5 liters or 7 liters of milk, it has been, I don't know if it is genetically modified or whatever you call it, they have been crossbreeded into an animal with a specific intention of giving more milk. Now when you change all these things, the internal things of that cow has changed. So what is coming out from that cow as manure is also not that helpful as compared to an indigenous cow. But that does, I'm not saying that you sell all your cows and buy indigenous cow. What I'm saying is if you have got, just add one indigenous cow, so that will help. So if you have 10, 15 cows, just add one indigenous cow, have it there. And if you're going our way, so we show you the whole thing, because now when we go there, we change the food for that cow. We tell them don't vaccinate it. We give them different natural options of doing it, and we guarantee that the cow will not die. So what happens is now slowly you start seeing benefit of that cow on your farm. So let me tell you something. If you have a cow, if you're making more money from the cow dung of that cow, will you ever sell that cow? Will you ever eat that cow? It's as simple as that. So milk is the byproduct. And there are many comparisons which talk about milk from an indigenous cow and milk from the other cow. They're two different things. And there are a lot of things about it. So I think the species of cow really plays a very important role.
For sure. That one I agree. Because I've had the privilege of really going into people specializing like dairy production. I also saw that in the Netherlands as well. They have huge places for just dairy cows. And usually the lifespan of this milk production, I think it's 3 years. By the 4th year, they have already sent it into the meat processing industry because it's not producing enough milk for it to be profitable. So they send it into the butcheries so that they can produce meat and stuff. So normally a cow is supposed to, I think, 10, 12 years. But for this made for milk production, it's usually 3 years. So huge difference in terms of what happens when you hybridize a cow. Also, what I noticed, the dung itself smells different.
I can talk a lot about it because every time when I used to come home, the only thing I used to smell was dung. I was not allowed to get into the house before I take a shower. Everything is removed outside, straight, take a shower and then you come out. Now, when they start our process, when we spray the soil conditioners, and when you do this process of 3 months of making the cow organic, many times we have noticed in India that there is no smell in the dung. See, you have to understand, we call it free grazing. See, why do the Arabs or the countries who are buying our meat, why do they like it? Because the difference in meat coming from the so-called milk-producing countries and us here. So they are grazing out and they are happy. Okay, the cow does not know that it is going to be slaughtered tomorrow. Yeah. But look at that cow. You have seen so many people who are animal activists, and they show. If you talk of Netherlands, you see, it's for people to understand. As I told you, in my culture, we pray. Cow is like, it's we see God in cow. If you look at it like that. So we're coming back to the same thing. Those milk producing. Let's take an example. Those milk producing countries, whether it's Netherlands or any country, the excess milk, I don't know if you know about the protein powders what are made. Milk, when it is produced, how many hours can it stay?
About 10 hours.
The whey protein, when it comes to you, it has got an expiry of 2 years. How? What made it stay? I'm just asking. I'm not saying it is good, bad. I'm not promoting or saying anything. So there is something you have put inside it which has made it stay for 2 years. Now, when you buy an orange which has come from South Africa or Egypt, apples, they have come here after 30 days. What did make it stay like that? Yet, we don't want to buy something which is grown locally. One of the best oranges in the world are the pixies which we get from over here. But that pixie guy will get 100 shillings a kilo, 120 shillings a kilo. But when you go to Carrefour, you're going to buy those South African oranges for 450 shillings a kilo. This is the problem. Because you think it is better, but it is not.
And I think you mentioned also like the importance of looking at these things all connected. You touched it a little bit, but I would like for you to explain it a little bit better in terms of the health of the soil is important to the health of the plant. It's important to the health of the animal. It's important to the health of the humans. What does that actually mean?
You mentioned a comment in the starting that soils worldwide are degrading, right? What is the meaning of that? You're talking of the soil organic carbon. So the organic carbon of the soil is roughly around 0.5%, 0.7%, what we have it here. The moment you have that at 3%, 4%, do you know 90% of the diseases will be gone? Say today your immune system is not good and your friend's immune system is good. How do you determine that? When there are seasonal changes, you fall sick and he does not fall sick. So when you fall sick, you start taking a Panadol. After Panadol or a paracetamol, you start taking an antibiotic. After that antibiotic, you start taking a stronger antibiotic. And after a certain time, there is nothing. We are talking of what they call antibiotic resistance and all those things. So when it comes to soil, it also is the same way. So now, when I came into this country 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 25, 26, and if I'm eating some normal vegetables, I was comparing it from the place where I came from. Oh, it is tasting very sweet. It is tasting nice. Oh, Kenya, we are naturally organic. I don't know if you have heard people talking about it. We are naturally, what does it mean? Whenever it rains, you go by the roadside, everything is green, everything is growing because the soil is fertile. Now, when you have these commercial farms which are there and they have a specific investments done in that and they want to grow things in a certain way, you keep on growing it until a certain place where it is not giving them desired profits. I would like to put it in a very crude way. These commercial farms, they buy our farms, they rape that farm for years and then they leave it and they go to the other farms. This is what is happening. Now, what we are doing is we are exporting the soil of our great-grandchildren right now. What are we going to do with that degraded land? There's so many places, there's so many farms. There's nothing happening about it. That is the answer we have. So you just come with one cow for 2 acres, it will happen. If you want to do it, it is going to happen. So coming back on the same aspect of soil and how to work on it holistically. Say you have stayed in a developed country, say US, and you're a local African. You stayed there for a few years. So now your eating habits have changed. Your drinking habits have changed in terms of what you drink as milk and all those things. I'm not talking of the evening drinks. Your pattern of waking up and sleeping has changed because you're young, so you start doing various things. And when you fall sick, you don't have a mother there. So there is a health care and it is giving you pills. So you have to understand what these chemicals and pills is doing to a biological body. When you eat an antibiotic, does that antibiotic know which germs to kill in your body? So it kills good and the bad. So fine, you needed it, you did it. But the point to answer is, how are you going to get back the good ones? Or you are getting it but you don't know. You are getting it by eating raw vegetables, fruits, and our traditional recipes. So fermented food is the key. So in our recipe, I have got gideri and I've got uji for the soil. So the gideri for the soil is the compost what we make, and the uji for the soil is the soil conditioner what we make. And in this way, what I'm doing is I'm putting up a factory of making your own inputs on your farm. It would have been easy for me. I set up a place. I tell people, get all your cow dung into my place. I make it. I get a registration from cafes and Kilimahai that I'm making this compost, and I sell it. So many people are selling it. But how much will you put in a farm? You'll say, okay, fine, Kumar, I'll buy something with 5,000 shillings. 5,000 shillings, you will get 2 bags, 3 bags. In 5,000 shillings, I'll make for you 2 tons on your farm. That is the game changer. That is why I'm saying food. So what I'm doing is I'm putting what you call buffet. So when you go for a buffet, there is salad, there is soup, there is your proteins, it may be meat or whatever. There is rice, there is lentils, there is dessert, there is fruits. So you will decide what you want to eat. There is tea, there is coffee, there is water, there is soda, there is juice. You will pick a juice, I might pick a soda, somebody else will pick a water. So this is what we are doing for the soil. We are putting the full buffet. Now, when you look at people, as you mentioned about NPK, so there are only 4 nutrients we talk about. But in general, in total, there are 104 or 108 macro and micronutrients. You see, sometimes somebody will come and say, you don't have sulfur. Somebody will say you don't have copper. Somebody will say you don't have this. So what we are doing is when you make this compost, you are putting everything inside it because it already has it. You see, that's the reason why I mentioned to you how a doctor looks at it and how a mother looks at it. So today you go and you check and somebody will say that your vitamin C is low. So you will start taking vitamin C shots or you will start taking oranges. But as we know, the oranges does not have enough in it. So you can't eat that and it is not helping you. So you don't have a choice and you go back to the supplements. So if it's not in the soil, it will not come in the plant. So coming back to the same thing. So this is how we work at it. So one thing is working on the compost. Second thing is working on the soil conditioner and assuming whether the person is growing herbs or horticulture, fruit trees, or whether it is tea, coffee, they have their own plan. So what we say is, okay, fine, mark out a small area and let's do this commercial trial together. Because earlier you get calls, okay, Kumar, do a trial. Now, you have to pay for the products. You go there, you employ people. I said, I don't want to do this. I said, my dad has not taught me this business. How do I say that? So now you want me to come on your shamba, to work on your soil, to work on your profits, to make sure that you get increased productivity and reduce your cost. And yet I need to show you and do it for free and then you will pay me. I said, no, this is not how I need to do business. So that's why we have come up with the initiative, one farmer at a time. We have got a few farmers. They are happy in what they are growing and it's really going places.
How long do you think does it take for this change to happen? So let's say you have a farmer who's been using the conventional way and they want to adopt this system. How long do you think will it take?
So let me be honest with you. I'm not coming with a magic wand to do it. What I can assure you is if you put that compost properly, you will see the results the same season. Now, when I say the results the same season, I'm not saying that I'm going to double your output in the first season. But by the time you're going in the third season, you'll be growing a lot of things. Because generally what you look at it is, say you go to a farm, you said you have a 3-acre farm. How many trees do you have in the farm? Because you're an organic farmer, you might have planted, right? But a conventional farmer will not have trees. So the first thing I say is on the empty places, plant some trees. Now you know what the trees does. So you can have indigenous tree, you can have a fruit tree. Moringa is something which you can grow, which is good for your soil, which is good for your cattle, and it is also good for you. You know about the moringa powder, yeah. So what happens is in 2 or 3 seasons, your income from that farm starts going higher. Why? You know what we talk in terms of biodiversity. So I'm not there to teach the farmer organic farming, but I'm just putting the principles in place. Put the compost, reduce the chemicals. Say he is doing tomatoes. Now let's go on let's say you're doing tomatoes on 1 acre. So you've got say 20 tons of tomatoes. Now you look for a middleman to sell, and then you blame the middleman. I mean, why can't you grow different things and just sell it to somebody who is near to your farm? Grow a little bit of tomatoes, grow a little bit of onions, plant one line of some herbs, because herbs is now, you keep on growing, or strawberries, perennials, as we call it, right? Mix it a few things, because you'll grow something what you can sell in your neighborhood. Your income is going to be much higher than what it is. But what happens here is, we Kenyans, we like to, what is the right word? You find something is trending. Okay, somebody, for example, dragon fruits. Yeah. So somebody says, oh, it's being sold for 1,000 shillings a kilo. But when the season comes, you go to the market, it is being sold for 200 shillings, 300 shillings a kilo. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, the long-term goal of that farm is very important. Yeah. This is what you see. Now I'm putting my commercial and financial experience in this farming. So now you're a farmer. You say, okay, fine, Kumar, I've got. Say you're a herb farmer. So you say, Kumar, I've got somebody who is buying the herbs from me. I want to sell herbs. Fine. He's giving you 300 shillings a kilo, while exports they're getting 1,500. That is what is making you. But you see, there are many aspects. You need the certifications, GMP and blah, blah, blah. There are many aspects of that. So I believe that farming is something where you can never go wrong. We have a growing population. We have to feed. It's not that you grow only beans and maize. You can grow a lot of things, because people need everything, So there are multiple ways to look at it.
One of the things that make people not want to adopt organic and sustainable farming is they say it's not scalable enough. So let's say you have someone who has thousands of hectares and they've come for you and they want some help in terms of helping really improve their soils. First of all, is it viable when you're doing it large scale?
You see, large scale farmers, they have set up their farms in a different way, and they have got many doctors there. So they don't need a mother to give them a guidance. So as I mentioned to you, there are two different aspects. I'm talking as a mother. So soil, they also have soil. So if they take care of their soil, it will also work. But large scale farms, if they're doing monocultures, because you see, they will need to do, assuming somebody is doing wheat on a large scale. If you tell him, have some biodiversity, he can't do it, because he has got different machines for it. He has got a market only for wheat, so he does not have that. If somebody is having thousands of acres, he has got the highest to lose, because whether he likes it or not, the soil is degrading. Whether he likes it or not, the input costs are going up. Whether he likes it or not, tomorrow his farm is going to be barren and finished. So the only way is to find out a way and start adopting this. So if you've got thousands of acres, call Kumar or somebody like Kumar and say, okay, fine, I'm giving a small portion and I want to try it. Because the farmer has to determine what he can sell. This is one of the biggest problems of small scale farmers. Neighbor is growing avocados, so you put avocados. Then you don't take care of that avocados, and when the time comes, the avocados are small. And then a middleman comes, and then you see that you're not even making money, but you read a story that you're making 2 million shillings from avocado farm of 1 acre. So, and most of the people who are making money, they are not telling you how they're making money. So my advice to large scale farmers would be that as much as you have agronomists, doctors, employ some mothers, employ some people who do agroecology. In India, there is a state called Sikkim. Do you know how many hectares of land have been gazetted as organic farms? 750,000 hectares. This is just one area, 750,000 hectares. How many of these big farms who have got so much of capital spent $1,000 and went there and checked? So it's only if the decision maker in his mind wants to think on those lines, they will go ahead. So me, I don't want to become a billionaire. I don't want to say that I have got thousands of farms or I've got thousands of customers and everything. No. You give me 5 farmers with 2 acres. In 2 years, I'll make them millionaires. What did I say? 5 farmers or 50 farmers. They have 2 acres. They are supposed to be farmers. They may be anywhere in Kenya because I can't go outside Kenya right now. In 2 years, they will be millionaires because of the experience. Now, I'll give you another thing. When I was doing this, I also did farming. I leased 16 acres in Tarakaniti, where I did rain-based farming of dengue. And we got some amazing results there. I have a second farm which is in Kajiado. It's 30 acres, but we did a little bit of trial and error of some farms. We have not scaled it up in a full way. And we are looking at a third farm in Limuru where we want to do something. The reason why I'm getting into that is because when I go to a farmer, I don't want to go to you and say I've come to sell products to you. I'm also a farmer. If you're interested, I can also give you my inputs through my experiences. And we can grow together. You learn something from the other farmer because we have not even started where we are. I'll give you one of the examples. Let's take example of grass. If you talk of we call it bomarods or what's the different, that few other names where you get maybe 20-30 tons per acre. If you talk of Napier grass or super Napier grass, or there is some Chinese grass which has come, it goes up to 150 tons, provided you take care of it, right? Our people in India, researchers, they have gone to 2,000 metric tons of grass in 1 acre in 1 year, and it's organic. I can take you there. I can give you the numbers. It's like the same thing, when I tell my granddaughter that she can produce 8 kids. So if she says yes, she's not going to be ready in a few months, right? She needs those kind of inputs. Her care needs to be taken in a certain way for her to perform in a certain way. So same way is the soil. So if I tell you that I can get you 2,000 metric tons of grass in 1 acre in 1 year, the seeds, we work on the seeds, we work on the water, we work on the inputs, then you get what you're talking about because it grows much faster. There, the soil organic carbon is above 14%. We mentioned about us being at 0.5, 0.7. They're at 14%. And you can do it. So there is a science behind it. They have methods to do that. Now, why I mentioned about this grass is, you see now, we have a meat industry and we have the milk industry. Kenya has got a lot of livestock. During droughts, what do? You transport grass from one area to the other area. The highest amount of money you're paying is for the transport, isn't it? Do you know in grass, 70% is water. So when you dehydrate the grass and you make pellets out of it, you can store it. Those same pellets, you can use it for your cattle and you can also use it for energy. The boilers, briquettes, from the residue everybody pick and you make briquettes out of it and then it goes back into the... So the calorific value of the pellets, what I'm talking about, is also much higher. So why I'm sharing this with you is because there are some people who have started doing these things. Now, how will we compete with people who are growing 10 times more, 20 times more than what we have? Any amount of tariffs will not stop. So that's where it is going, and that is what is exciting me.
Yeah, interesting. So for a large scale, what they need is really a change of mindset and that commitment to say, you know what, I think I believe in this and I'm willing at least to start small, see the results, and then be able to scale up in the long term. You mentioned that you've traveled a lot across the country. You've talked to a lot of farmers. What has been your number one excuse, you will say, from a lot of these farmers?
Our farmers have been spoiled. When I say spoiled, the farmer is on his farm. Agronomist from a certain company will come with inputs on his farm, give him some freebies for trials. He'll take it, he'll use it. So he's used to a lot of spoon feeding. So the farmer will only talk to you when you go on their farm. Now, in my case, the reason why I was going on the farm is because we were not selling a product. We are selling a concept, So if it's a concept and when you're new, and you are also adapting and changing a bit on the fly because it's no straight jacket, right? You go to an avocado farmer, or if you go to a herbs farmer, or if you go to a tea farmer, or you go to a coffee farmer, the problems they have are different because they are all talking about the problems. So you'll say you have a headache, you'll say you have a skin issue, you'll say you've got ulcers, you'll say I can't eat properly, I can't sleep properly. But my answer to everything is same. If you eat it right, if you sleep well, everything will go. For example, in case of coffee farmers, there's a very nasty disease called CBD, coffee berry disease. We've got more than 30 farmers who use our products and it is working very well. Even when it is working very well, most of the farmers, they don't call you back. They want it, available with the agrovets. They want so easy. So that is one of the major hurdle what I faced because my main concentration was small scale and medium sized farmers. In case of large scale farmers, say I'm going to a farmer which is in Nanyuki or Naivasha, a big farm. So today you go there, so you do hi, hello, he'll give an appointment. Next time you go there, then you explain, then you say, these are the people involved in it. By the time you're doing a trial for free, it's 6 visits and it's say around 30,000 shillings. Who will pay for it? I stopped it. I said, no, I can't do this because I'm not yet capable of doing this, And if I'm spending it to go to the large scale farmers, tomorrow I will say my overheads are higher. So whom will I charge? I'll charge to my small scale farmers who are buying it from me because you see, you're on account. So you'll say, okay, fine. Your fuel expense last year was say 10,000 and now it is 50,000. But that 40,000 was because I was trying to get new farmers. So how do you balance it out? So it was a very tough decision and things, but we are open and we are trying to see how to go about it. The process to build immune health is same, isn't it? You can have different things in between. You might debate, no, Kumar, we want to put this much extra here, this much. No problem, we can do it that way. But the main way of doing is one way. There is no other way. There is no chemicals which is going to build your soil. It is not possible. It is not happening.
It's interesting you talk about that mentality or that perspective that a different farmer has. So it's something I've always wondered, especially for our farmers. Do you think there's that reluctance from farmers to adopt local solutions rather than like the mainstream solutions?
100%. 100%.
What is the reason, do you think, behind it?
Because you see, when you get a local product, there are always questions about its quality. Because everybody in their journey as an entrepreneur have seen that most of the agencies who are supposed to take care of quality, they are not doing the job that they are supposed to do. So there is always that reluctance to buy local products. I'll give you an example. Owner of a pharmaceutical company who is manufacturing dawa here, he's not eating his own dawa, he's eating something which is from UK and Switzerland. What do you say about it? Or you go to a restaurant and the owner does not eat there. In case of farming, let me tell you, you must have also seen that. When you go to a farmer and you see that one side, everything is very nice and green and everything, he has put his chemicals and everything. On one side, he's struggling. What is this? Apa meweka manure peke yake. Hii ni ya kukula jumbani. You must have seen, he has a small thing where he keeps it for himself. Why? Because he knows he's putting poison on the other side. It does not grow properly. So that mindset is there. But let me tell you, farmers really take a lot of risk. Out of the 4,000 farmers, I can say, I'm not talking about the large scale farmers. The small and medium size, not a single farmer has said no to our visit. Not a single farmer has not given us a warm welcome. Not a single farmer I have seen that it's lunchtime and if you have stayed there for more than 1 hour, that I have not been offered sweet potato because I'm a vegetarian, gideri, uji, and now you are going there more than one time. So they know Kumar is coming, so they are also vegetarian because Kumar, you're coming, so we have cooked a nice vegetarian meal. Whether I do business with them or not, but everybody is wanting to learn that. I think this is where the young generation needs to take up the baton from the older generation, learn the traditional aspects of it, use their own mind and look into farming as to how you can sustain it for many years. You grew up eating kideri and uji. Was it not made in Kenya?
It was. Literally from our farm.
So the simplest things what we have is local. There is something they call it Jivamrut in India. You take cow dung, you take some flour, you take cow urine, you take sukari guru, you put it in a barrel, you put some water and you ferment it for 7 days and you use it. Okay, everybody knows about it. When you're using this, what we have done is we have improvised this, but we have worked on the quality of the inputs going in. So is the manure organic? Okay, the manure cannot be organic if the cow is organic. So you must have not heard this concept. How do you make a cow organic? So that's what we do, Food for Soil. So you make the cow organic. Okay, so it's all about the mindset. See, the way I'm discussing with you about how we are correlated, human beings, cattle, and the soil. The moment somebody understands it, and the moment somebody says that, yes, this is the approach we want to take, it becomes a game changer. And we changed our way of doing things. So earlier, when we were doing, now you're going on the farms, and so how do you handle the costs? So the cost of that products was increasing. It was not making any sense for the farmer, because he was comparing with something what he is getting conventionally or something or the other. So what we have done is we have bifurcated the cost. So we say, okay, your farm is here. So one time there is a small cost. We charge them for a farm visit. And the cost of products are at such a level where it is very affordable for the farmer. And we have a way where if the farmer says that he did not benefit from what we have done, we return the money. No questions asked. Because we don't have any middlemen, right now. We don't want to deal with 1,000 acres, 10,000. We will cross that bridge when it comes. Okay. But right now, assuming if I've got 100 farmers, I want to deal 200 farmers, 300 farmers. We have a small team which works together, but the first visit with the farm is always me. I let that person understand where we are coming from, and if there are any problems along the way, we try and tackle that.
Nice. So we are trying to help really a small scale farmer. I'm sure majority of the people you work with are small scale to some extent, and we sort of want to help them. So especially from a value addition perspective, what is one thing do you think can be helpful to these small scale farmers to help them really earn, a better income for themselves?
See, the extra time what a farmer family has, assuming there is a son or a daughter for a farmer, that extra time is just going in checking reels and wasting time, right? Politics. How much time is that person investing in understanding simple things? Let me give you a few things. How much does a farmer sell his macadamia nuts for? It was a time 20 bob, 50 bob, right? Do you know how much is roasted macadamia nuts in Carrefour? You just have to check on your phone, because most of these farmers, they have a smartphone, and Carrefour is online. 1 kg is 1800 shillings. Let's take peanuts. How much does a farmer get for 1 kg of peanuts? And how much is 1 kg of roasted peanuts? Now tell me, is there any rocket science to roast peanuts or to roast macadamia nuts? There's no rocket science. How much is 1 kg of fresh chili a farmer sells? And how much is 1 kg of dry red chili powder? My wife buys it for 1200 shillings a kilo. How much is 1 kg of fresh herbs? You sell it to the middleman. And how much is 1 kg of dried herbs being sold on Carrefour? How much is 1 kg of mangoes rotting on your farm because the exporters just picked what they wanted and they left what is there? And how much is dried mangoes being sold? The difference is huge. 700%, 800%, 1500%. So what do you want? You want somebody to come with a magic wand and come to your farm and do everything for you. So why can't you see it? Let me give you another example, something simple. Taraka Nidhi, I'm growing green grams. Right now the season has started. The farmers are selling their green gram for 65 shillings a kilo. If it's a better quality, 80 shillings a kilo. In Carrefour, 1 kg of dengu is 260 shillings. Packed in a plastic bag. The only thing what they have done is polished it. Do you need polished green grams? You just need to eat the green grams. Yellow beans. They are selling at the farm at 100 shillings max. In Carrefour, it is being sold for 300 shillings. Just tell me what value addition is there. So, we people in Nairobi, here, you're seated here, and you want to see that you want to go to a company which will pay you 50,000, 100,000 shillings, I'm giving you a business idea where you can make 1,000 shillings per day just by selling something to your neighbor. Let's take milk. 1 kg of milk, is it 42 shillings the farmer gets, right? How much is 1 kg of cheese? What rocket science is there to make mozzarella cheese or cheddar? I'm not even talking of high-end cheese where they have got and they keep it in a different way. You just bring some cultures, you have nice, safe things, the cultures are put in a few days that cheese is done. So, the real reason here is that we need to hold hand of each other. You don't have to worry about an NGO, the government and everything, and you focus on this. I've started an initiative right now. For example, last year during the mango season, I sold 3 tons of mangoes from my house, door to door. Navika Kaugari, I'm with my wife, some person, because you see, when you go to Naivash, that time I think the apple mangoes were being sold for 90 shillings, 110 shillings a kilo. I was selling it for 60 shillings. I was giving the farmer 45 shillings delivered. The farmer was being paid 30 shillings by them. But now these farmers who I was working with them, they were organic farmers. Now I told them, look, I'm doing this to build something, try and see what happens. Most of the people who bought those mangoes, they said, Kumars, these mangoes are some of the sweetest mangoes we have eaten. Because you know what happens. Now, there are multiple problems in the mango industry as well. You see, they've got FCM and they're not able to export, and there are many issues. Because this issue will keep on increasing, because in that farm, you only have mango trees. What do you expect? That is not how our grandfather had. They had a mango tree. Maybe they had a different tree around it. Some are for wood, some is for food, fruits. There's a farmer whom I said, why don't you grow guavas? I sold guavas. I sold carrots and beetroots and other things. So I was just trying to with a friend of mine, he has a shop around and from my house. Now I am trying to see how I can scale up. But you see, most of the people, they start thinking from how much money I go. I want to sell 100,000 kgs or I want to make 1 million. I'm saying, how can I make my 1,000 shillings? Because 1,000 shillings in my hand is worth 1,000,000 times more than 1,000,000 shillings on paper. Because I've seen that. You know what I'm saying? You see it and you want to do a deal and somebody's talking about a deal here and deal there, and in the end, what you have done is just wasted time. If you are seated with no job, no work, and you've got little money, will you spend money on your clothes? Will you spend money on something to do with your house, or you'll spend money for food? Food is the first thing what you need, right? And we have a very big gap. If you look at the news and, somebody was saying Africa imports $90 billion worth of food here. For example, I was shocked when I went to a supermarket and my friend, he had got a newborn baby and she was buying organic rice-based products for her baby. 200 grams was around 1,100 shillings. And yet we can do all these things here. So there is a huge potential. And if you look at strawberries, I sold strawberries. There is a farmer whom we worked on, and his strawberries, we turned it into organic and natural, not certified, because they have their own things and other things. But he started using our things. And I just told my friends, look, this is a farmer I know, and he has not used pesticides, the harmful ones. He has just used our organic stuff. I was selling from my house 100 punnets a week. People are spending 1,000 shillings in their car just to come. They send a driver and to pick it because people value. So I don't know how you create that.
I want you to help someone build an ideal farm following your principles. What are the key ideals that you will help them or just guide them to ensure they become a successful farmer?
So number 1, which is your nearest market? Number 2, what kind of soil you have? Number 3, what are your neighbors growing? Number 4, I'm assuming that the farmer wants to grow naturally, organically, and he wants to phase out the chemicals and pesticides and fungicides from his farm. Plant a few trees. So when you talk of few trees, you can plant guava tree, you can plant orange tree, you can plant avocado tree, or whichever trees which will grow. So because it's a 1 acre farm, so you just say plant a few trees. You don't want to guide which trees. He will know. If he wants, we can tell him some moringa trees, because there are reasons for it. Because over a period of time, you get the biomass and your farm, the organic matter and the soil organic carbon will keep on increasing if you have the more the number of trees. Once he has identified where he wants to sell, and what he can sell is then the journey of farming starts. You don't start farming if you don't know your market. Don't grow cabbages when you can only sell it for 25 bob. Don't grow dragon fruits when you don't know where the market is, because it is going to take 1.5 years, 2 years. The dragon fruits will come just because somebody else has made money, because you're a smallholder farmer. So smallholder farmers, according to me, water is the key issue. So if that person is dependent on only rains, I will suggest that he should not do farming. See, irrigation, when I say irrigation, is you need a source of water. When you have source of water in 1 year, you can get more than 3 crops. That is when the game-changing things happen, because you're making it highly productive. When we talked of productive, when we compared human beings and things. So water is something you need. And now when you do organic farming, you also know that the amount of water you need for your farm is at least 80-90% less than conventional farming. So I would like them to mix as many different crops on their farm as possible. Every farm will be different, because depending on what he chooses, he can sell. And then you can do it. So you can have some chilies on this side, you can have some strawberries here, you can have some other things here where you have got separate. So on one patch, say it's a cold area like Limuru, and you have put in some carrots or some beetroots. You can't do the same thing if you are in Kajiado, because they will not grow properly because it's hot. So in Kajiado side or sides where people are growing a lot of tomatoes and other things, we'll focus on maybe oranges. Because now, pixies, they grow very well there. I used to eat pomegranates 3 years ago when I did not know. I used to eat imported pomegranates from Spain for 3,500 shillings a kilo. Right now I don't. But locally, the farmers are not even getting 1,000 shillings for a kilo for their pomegranates. So there is multiple things which can be done. But what I'm saying is, if we take care of the soil, I can assure you, whatever you're growing, it will come out.
Yeah, and I think that's the mentality that a lot of farmers need to adopt, in terms of view soil as something that you really need to take care of, as something that you need to feed for it to give you the kind of output you need. As you were saying,
say you have got 5 acres, 3 acres or 5 acres. You make at least 4 divisions or 5 divisions. So you say within your farm, this is your farm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. So today you farm on your farm 1. Then you go to your plot B after 1 month. You planted it. 3rd month, you go to your plot number 3 or C. By the time you go in your 3rd one, the first one is starting to give you, depending on what you have planted. You can do the same things, 4, 5 things. So what happens is, instead of looking for a middleman or instead of looking for a wholesaler, you will be working with 4 retailers. So assuming you have got onions, cabbages, some horticulture is the major thing what people do when they do it. So you will be taking it to the same retailer every 2 weeks, because he has got customers and those people need to eat. So it is a whole cycle. You're not losing on anything. It's a cycle. And you're dealing with the same. But I have not seen many people doing that. Because when you have 5 acres, you'll say, okay, fine, you know what? I've got 1 acre of cabbage. So your total, this many heads, this much. And you'll have a middleman come in, pick up the cabbages and go. You'll make money, you'll not make money. There's a different thing depending on demand and supply, market, whatever. You have tomatoes. So you're fortunate and somebody comes and buys the tomatoes. You have given it, because when you have monoculture and you have got tomatoes, so you're doing it. So this is the drastic difference in how you plan your farm. You can't have a monoculture and then you plan that you want to do it organically. It will not work. It will work in a commercial way, because now your input cost will be coming higher, because our main thing is whatever is coming from your farm, you're able to sell. So earlier, if you're getting 10 tons of tomatoes, I'm going to give you 10 tons of mixed things. But in the second season, I'll give you 15 tons of mixed things, because the trees will start giving something. The fertility of the soil is also increasing because of the compost and everything you have given. Like in one of the farms, when the maize was grown, he got 5 cobs of maize on one stem. Okay, out of this, 3 were fully grown, 2 were not grown. So, here you have got a big different problem. There is a coffee farm where the coffee tree started bending because of too many fruits. So the problems can come in a very different way. So the mixing is different for each farmer. And you see, as you know, we say every individual is different. So every farm is also different.
For sure, because they have different goals. They're in a different climate.
So I will ask the farmer, what is your goal? And assuming I have a different experience about that goal, I will try to tell the farmer, no, let's not go this way, let's go this way. So if somebody has got 5 acres and he says he wants to put 1 acre of dragon fruits, so the question is, do you have a market? Is it confirmed? How many other people are there? How are you going to take it to the market? What is the cost of taking it there? All these things needs to be considered, So that's where our expertise comes in, We are able to guide, do this. You just change a little bit. He's making money. It's like a baby growing, A tree grows slowly. It's not a lift, It's a staircase. One, pole. We reach where we want to reach. And I'm telling you 100%, small scale farmers, if they work on these simple principles of what they're growing, whether they are near to the market, they take care of the soil, sky is the limit.
Yeah. And they have to be that mindset of, hey, this is actually what I want to do. So I want to pick your mind a little bit on the role of government in farming. So we know government does provide subsidies, especially for conventional farmers. That's not usually the case for organic farmers. People like you have inputs that are organic. Maybe they could be subsidized. Does the government even have a role in terms of helping other farmers as well?
See, when you have something which you cannot control, I tend to leave it alone. Okay, number one. Number two, according to me, our government needs to go and look at other countries, not necessarily India, who have been pioneers in reducing chemical usage, how it is working, and try and give us something on those lines. Number three, the ills of using fertilizer are known. We had some Agra, or I don't remember the conference, where they want to increase the amount of fertilizer what is being used in Africa. So currently, assuming we say we are at 2 bags or 3 bags per hectare. In India, say it is at 15 bags. In Europe, Spain, they are at 25, 30 bags. The number of people living with cancer or dying with cancer, have a look at it. That is what we are getting it here. So we have got multiple benefits. Now, directly when we talk of farming, yes, there should be even more subsidies given to organic manufacturers so that farmers can affordably buy it. In my case, the way I am doing it, I am building a organic input making factory on your farm. You don't need any subsidies, you don't need anything, because you have all the inputs. The waste, what you're getting, we are just trying to mix it and put it together. Something which is little bit, which is not there, you can source something from the market and you put it. So I'm telling you that even without government support or even without subsidies, this can grow. Look how I think Muranga is doing wonderfully well in terms of adopting organic farming and the ecosystem there and the kind of investments they're attracting. I saw recently, it's really good. So, we will have to learn from each other. And we hope that we get better hand-holding from the government. For example, there is a law, I don't know if it was passed, because there's so many laws in Kenya that you can't keep a track of it. Every day there is some new law which comes up. I think that's what needs to stop. There is a law also on how you can use the animal dung. So earlier somebody said, you can't use it on the farm. So if you don't use it on the farm, where are you going to do it? You want to have dump sites for it, or you want to dump it on Nairobi roads? What do you want to do with it? But there is a nature's way, See, when you look at maize, the whole maize stem, what is grown, the 100%, how much a human being we consume is only 10% or 20%. What is the rest? If God wanted, the maize cob would have just grown directly, isn't it? So why is it grown? Think about it. When you have a tree, it is giving fruits. The leaves shed in a certain season, again it grows, again it is flowered, again it is fruits. So why has God created that tree like that? The creator of us all is the most supernatural intelligence you can talk about. A human body or the soil or the various plants and trees what we have. So why is it done in that way? Because a certain portion is for your cattle, certain portion is to go back to your soil. And we have somehow come in between that cycle with the monocroppings and other things. And that's where the whole thing has come up.
Yeah, I've always wondered actually in terms of government providing subsidies. If the government were not providing subsidies, could it even be affordable to do conventional farming? Because if you remove the subsidies, a lot of farmers and a lot of farms will actually collapse in the weight of the amount of money they need for inputs. So I think there's also that part that gets overlooked a lot in terms of, is it efficient enough? Because this is one of the criticism that is usually leveled against organic. But if we talk about efficiency in terms of costs, then the other side is way, way overblown and needs to be talked a little bit more about.
You see, that is why our approach. You see, when you look at organic, the people who are selling in the market, like, I am no way in competition with them because I am not selling a product to a farmer. What I'm telling the farmer, do you want to make your own githeri and uji? The moment you will have this githeri and uji, all the macro and micro nutrients you're talking about, 104, you're going to get it. At what cost? Even maybe the less than even the subsidized government fertilizer. That is the game changer. Because, and then the beauty is, every year in an organic farm, the cost of inputs starts going down and the output will start going up because of the way the whole ecosystem is designed. Whether you do syntropic farming, whether you do strip farming, whether you do a mixed farming, whether you have some horticulture and some animals and some trees, whichever way you do it, bottom line is the farmer should make money. So government support, you see, the way you have agronomists going on one farm or the other, you don't have an agroecologist going on one farm or the other. So we need to build that system. See, an agroecologist who is talking about syntropic farming, or he is talking about whichever way, he's talking of the natural way. I'm empowering all of them because I'm giving them input which is like rocket fuel, which is made on the farm. Because we have done analysis reports on just few parameters, because you can't even look at all the parameters. What are the various parameters about your immune health? Every person will have a different perspective. Somebody will check your blood, somebody will check your XYZ, somebody will look into the various physical aspects of it. But do you know, we all are made up of 98 or 99% of microorganisms. So there are enough studies which talk that your gut is your second brain. You say, when we talk of gut feeling, what do you mean by gut feeling? What is gut? Gut is not only about you eat food and it releases toxins out of your body. But there is a lot of microorganisms in your body which generate chemical and biological, and then it balances your body.
I've always wondered why is it India does very well with organic farming? Because I usually see even the Prime Minister himself actually tweets about organic. So I'm like, what makes India so special with organic farming?
See, in last 15 years, the way the government has laid the roadmap for various aspects is at a very different level. Now, they have understood for a long time ago that if we do not remove chemicals and pesticides, we shall be also in the same place where right now some of the developed countries are. The number of people with tumors and cancers in India is at a level which is at least 20 times more than Kenya, if not more. So it has got alarming ways in which everything is going down. There are multiple researchers who are saying that if you fix the soil, everything will be okay. So if you fix the soil, you will fix water, you will fix the various aspects. I mean, the list is endless.
What then do you think the future holds for a small-scale farmer? Because we've talked a lot about how we can empower them and how we can bring them to make their small farm to be really useful. What do you see the future hold for a small-scale farmer?
If you look at it, our population, we have the youngest population. Yeah, our soils are not as degraded as other places. Regional integrations are taking place. Import substitution is not what we are looking at it. We are only talking of exports. Somebody wants to export herbs, cut flowers, avocados. Do you know how many containers of oranges are imported in the country every month? More than 75 40-feet containers. Do you know the amount of strawberries are imported? So I'm just talking about citrus fruits. So that's the potential. When you talk of agriculture, you know about sugar, you know about wheat and maize and all those things. But you see, there is a lot which is possible. sky is the limit, because once you have agriculture, there is also processing. The reason why we are not looking at small scale processing, for example, you have heard stories about tomatoes going waste. How much money do you take to make tomato sauce in a place where you are? You don't have to have a mega factory like you have for macadamia, or you have for cashew nuts, or you have for tea, or you have for coffee. Small processing, you'll be shocked with the kind of developments are there in China and India. You get a small machine, you process it, you have your, that's why you need an enabling government which will be able to assist us in value addition. So sky is the limit.
Yeah, sky is the limit. I like the optimism, and I think we need to be optimistic about the future of a small scale farmer, because they are at the core of giving us the food that we eat. 80% of them feed us as well.
So you see, the narrative, what is there in the mind of a small scale farmer, who will change it? People like you, media, where they are able to consume such podcasts, or other people who can say, yes, you can do this. This is possible. So the younger generation is the key here, because they have got internet, they have got phones, so they will be able to look at what is happening, and you don't have to do something which is requiring a lot of tech, or there's no rocket science we are trying to do. What you're trying to do is something what you're growing, adding some value into it. I gave you some examples before about it. So it's there. I mean, one of the things I did not mention was about jaggery. Do you know we can export the amount of jaggery we can export from here? It's unlimited, because most of the people in the West, they are stopping to use sugar, and they want to use something which is in place of sugar. For example, honey. I did not mention about honey. 4 years ago, I used to buy honey from supermarket which was Australian, and I was buying it for 2,500 shillings a kilo. Australian honey, and I'm in Kenya. Now I know it, because now I know farmers. I'm buying it directly from the farmers, and I'm paying the farmers 700 shillings for the honey which I've seen with my own eyes being removed. There is no adulteration. Recently there was a report that in India 80% of the honey is adulterated, some of the big brands. But why somebody has not thought about it and seen a very big potential? So there are multiple aspects in the value chain. A lot of things is happening. It's not that it's not happening. But as I'm saying, there is huge potential.
Not every day we get to talk about soil. So why do you think there is no mainstream talk about soil?
It's because that's how we have been fed. You see, there's too much of media we are consuming. There's too much of TikToks and Instagrams and other things we are consuming. If you dedicate some time and then you say that you want to research on this, then only, you'll be able to spend some time on it. You see, there's a narrative put in our mind that, you can do hydroponics. You don't need soil. But nobody is talking about the nutrient content of what we are growing. Today, because of chemicals, you might have increased the output by whatever times. But you don't see any study where they talk about what is the nutrient content of this orange and that orange. Suddenly now we have come to know, because that orange is no more working on you, because you eat those oranges and it is not giving you the vitamin C or the bananas or whatever we are talking about. So we need to learn from the lessons what we are getting. We don't have to follow that path, isn't it? And we are doing that. For example, in the Western world, when we got the normal phones, and from normal phones we moved to some different phones, and then we moved to pager, and from pager they moved to mobile phones. In Africa here, some of the countries, pagers just went out because the other thing took over. So we don't have to do the whole journey there. So the future is about biologicals, and biologicals, as they say, we have got an authority which looks after it and everything. You are more a biological person than a physical person. So same thing is about the soil. So Save Soil, the initiative which I mentioned to you about Sadhguru. By the way, as I mentioned, I've got a bigger brand logo of Save Soil behind my t-shirt than my own company's logo, because saving soil is the key thing. This guy is 68 years old when he traveled in, I think, Europe, 30,000 kilometers on his bike in 1 month. He has got the biggest initiative of saving soil. He has talked at MIT, he has talked at United Nations, he has talked at Harvard. What we do not achieve in 10 years, a decade, the guy has achieved in 1 or 2 years. And now the spiral effect of that is being seen. There is a project for Kaveri calling, it's for river. There's right for the rivers. If you look at the website, you will see a lot of content. So what I'm saying is those datas are available. But we are consuming advertisements, right? If you want to consume something, you see, you need to go that road. If you want to know about soil, it is there. If you want to know about the cattle, it is there. If you want to know about water, it is there. But why do we need somebody to talk about it? Why can't we sit, discuss, we know, and we act as what is required?
So we've talked a little bit about your own journey, how you started. You moved from the corporate world into the soil world. As you finish, I want to paint a picture for us. So when all is said and done, and especially for Food for Soil, what do you want people to remember you for?
I want people to remember soil. I want them to remember it is easy. And I want them to remember that an animal without a farm and a farm without an animal, both of them will struggle.
Nice. I think that's well summarized. This is the point where I like to go into a segment I call rapid fire questions. So what I've done is I've prepared 10 questions for you. So the idea behind it is really to get to know you a little bit better, just in case it didn't come out through the podcast. And this one should be fun. Ready?
Yeah.
So the first question is, as a kid, what did you want to grow when you grow up?
I just wanted to become like my father, because when we were growing up, you are going to the shop, you're looking at the stocks, you're looking at counting money, you're making invoices, and maybe I'm 7 years old, 8 years old.
Second question, if soil could speak, what do you think it will tell us?
Leave me alone.
Third question, who is your favorite historical figure?
It's from Bhagavad Gita. His name is Krishna. Krishna is our God, but as a historical figure, I think he has done much more. Even if you look at it as you take him as a somebody who is talking about history, or somebody who is talking about how you live your life.
A fourth question, what's one habit that changed your life?
I think multiple ups and downs in Kenya is what changed.
Yeah, Kenya is a special country for sure. Fifth question, what's one soil myth you wish people would stop believing?
To think that soil is dirt or stone. The myth is that people think it's not living.
Sixth question, if you had to eat only one meal for the rest of your life, what will it be?
Githeri and uji.
You've mentioned that that combination, so you must love it. Okay. Seventh question, what's your favorite book?
I'll give two. The first is by Robin Sharma, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And second one is the Bhagavad Gita, because I read it after. That was the book I read first. Bhagavad Gita, it's also an amazing book. It has got everything what you need in your life.
Eighth question, where is one place you like to go but haven't been?
Inside me.
Ninth question, what quote resonates with you most?
When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Last question, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Don't go to college, go to a farm.
Okay. Yeah, that's simple enough. So these are 10 questions. Thank you very much for agreeing to be part of this conversation. For guys who want to follow your work, how can they follow your work?
I'm on LinkedIn, Kumar Sheth. And with us, it's very simple. They just can contact me on my mobile. My number is 0721 314 051. It's on WhatsApp as well. Drop a message, have a conversation, and you start there.
Okay. Thank you for the time. It's been a really, really great conversation. I've enjoyed it. You've given me a different perspective and a different mindset on how to approach farming. So I really appreciate that. I'm sure guys who will watch this podcast will also enjoy it very much. And really appreciate it. Till the next podcast, remember to be organic. Cheers.